Let's rewind the clock, journeying back several years. A girl adorned in a kimono dances with a ball, serenading beneath cherry blossoms. Nearby, a 7 or 8-year-old Heiji, captivated, observes from a temple window. Fast forward to the present day, Conan, emulating Shinichi's voice, converses with Ran from a public phone near Bika Station. He updates her on his ongoing case, and Ran, concerned about impending weather, urges caution. Kagoro, injecting humor, croons Yashinoyama, a tale of historical lovers Yoshitsune and Shizuoka Guzan. He likens Ran and Shinichi to these ill-fated lovers. That night in Tokyo's Nishikuni-tachi city, 3 men await someone named Benkei outside a temple. Suddenly, a mysterious samurai donning an Okina mask emerges, wielding a bow to slay one man and a katana to dispatch the others. Collecting books and coded papers from the fallen, he vanishes. Midnight in Osaka, the murderer strikes, fatally stabbing Haishiro Bison, owner of Takahiyai restaurant and an old friend of Heiji. The victim, possessing the same book and code, has them seized by the killer. Next morning in Kyoto, Jiro Tsuruga, a bar owner, meets a similar fate, sharing the same book and code as the 4 prior victims. Days later at Tokyo Metropolitan Police Headquarters, local police, with support from Inspectors Otaki and Ayana Koji, hold a press conference on the rogue samurai's rampage. Takagi and Sato discuss Inspector Ayana Koji, a classmate of Inspector Shiratori's. Ayana Koji, nicknamed the Royal Inspector, hails from a noble family. His constant companion, a chipmunk, peeks from his suit pocket. Reporters inquire about any connections among the victims, learning they were part of the notorious Genjibutaru gang. Since 1991, this gang specialized in stealing Buddha statues, operating mainly in Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. Named after Yoshitsune's servants, each member owns a book titled Yoshitsune Chronicles, the same book the murderer took from each victim. With all but 3 members now deceased, Otaki reveals the police lack information on the remaining trio's identities, including names and genders. Megure concludes the press conference. Heiji, engrossed in a Yoshitsune magazine, decides to step out. While preparing, he notices a crystal on his drawer, reminiscent of a surprise from his past. As he gazes at it, a fully bloomed cherry tree outside catches his eye. The door suddenly opens. Kazuha has arrived, intending to surprise Heiji. Startled, he drops the crystal, but Kazuha picks it up. Although recognizing the crystal, she keeps its origin a secret, mentioning a walk. Perceiving Heiji's busyness, she bids farewell, leaving Heiji amused and Kazuha frustrated for not expressing her intentions. The narrative shifts to Sonoko, Ran, Conan, and Kagoro on a train headed to Kyoto. Kagoro was sought for assistance by the chief priest at Sano Temple, and the children tagged along as a special favor. Simultaneously, the detective boys visit Professor Agasa, who offers them a challenge, a quiz that could earn them a trip to Kyoto if answered correctly, fueling their envy towards Conan. Heiji quizzes the detective boys about Benkei, and Mitsuhiko enlightens the unaware Genta about Minamoto no Yoshitsune's history. Ashiwakamaru, later known as Yoshitsune, defeated Benkei on Gojo Bridge in Kyoto, making Benkei his servant. Amid the Genji and Haika clan rivalry, Yoshitsune triumphed over the Haika, leading to his suicide in Hiraizumi, now Iwate Prefecture, due to his brother Yorimoto's resentment. Agasa concedes, and the children celebrate their impending journey. Meanwhile, Kagoro, Ran, Sonoko, and Conan head to Sano Temple in a taxi to meet Ryuan and Chief Priest Inkai. They inquire about the Healing Buddha, presented every 12 years, with the next exhibition in 3 days. While Inkai seems pleased, Conan notices Ryuan's anxiety. The hosts guide Ran, Conan, Kagoro, and Sonoko to the room housing the stolen Healing Buddha, flanked by the sunlight and moonlight bodhisattvas. Surprisingly, the Buddha vanished around 8 years ago, but Ryuan refrained from reporting it, trusting its return fate. After offering tea, Inkai discloses a mysterious picture, identical to those found with a serial killer, dropped in the temple's mailbox. Heiji, investigating Jiro Tsuruga's murder, queries a nearby shop, but the crime occurred in the early morning, rendering no witnesses. While leaving, he halts a purse snatcher using a banner, returning the stolen item to Tayamakura, a teahouse owner, and her geisha, Chikasuzu. Grateful, they offer Heiji their cards, noting his welcome anytime. Observing a band-aid on Chikasuzu's thumb, Heiji bids farewell and rides off, unaware of Inspector Ayano Koji watching from afar. Back at Sano Temple, Kagoro examines the picture Riddle dropped in their letterbox, noting various animals like a cicada, tengu, and goldfish. Conan suggests these images might hold clues. Rows feature a chicken, leech, and an odd, while a violet, tengu, Mount Fuji, and acorn occupy the space between the second and third rows. Sonoko proposes that she and Ran explore Kyoto while Kagoro works. Ran agrees, mentioning she's arranged for Kazuha to be their guide, as Heiji is occupied. She also invites Conan to join them, but he declines, citing plans to go fishing with local children near the temple. As he departs, Conan ponders the significance of the picture sent to the temple. At Gojo Bridge, Conan investigates for clues when suddenly attacked from behind with a shurnai. Reciting the tale of Yoshitsune and Benkei's initial meeting on the same bridge, the assailant turns out to be Heiji. Applauded by a few children, Heiji hands Conan the staff, and they discuss the ongoing serial murder investigation. Heiji expresses his determination to solve Bison's murder and avenge his friend, emphasizing the victim's kindness during Heiji's middle school years. Conan shares the mysterious picture with Heiji, urging him to take them to places he thinks might hold clues about the stolen statue. Their first stop is the Gojitten Shrine, the supposed site of Benkei and Yoshitsune's initial meeting according to the Yoshitsune Chronicles. Despite Conan's search for clues, they find nothing. Exiting the shrine, Heiji questions why the temple didn't seek his assistance, considering Osaka's proximity to Kyoto. Conan speculates it could be due to Heiji's father being the police chief in Osaka, and the temple's preference to avoid police involvement. Next, they make a stop near Benkei Stone, a boulder associated with Benkei, either as a frequent seat or as something he threw from Mount High. Heiji and Conan prepare to head to Kuij Incline, but are halted by Inspector Ayano Koji, who instructs Heiji to stay clear of the investigation. Meanwhile, Ran, Sonoko, and Kazuha visit Kayomizudera Temple, renowned for its breathtaking view of blooming cherry trees. Kazuha appears melancholic, and when Ran inquires, she confides that Heiji's first love resides in Kyoto, sparking worries that Heiji might seek out the girl again. At Kuij Incline, Conan and Heiji scrutinize the statue of the perfected Great Sun Buddha, but find no pertinent clues on or around it. They decide to leave and grab lunch. During their descent down the hill, they pass a field of cherry blossoms, prompting Heiji to share a cherished memory. At 8 years old, during a Kyoto visit, Heiji explored all the city's temples. At one temple, he accidentally broke the bars of a window, fell backward, and briefly lost consciousness. Upon regaining awareness, he heard a girl singing outside. Peering through the window, he glimpsed a girl about his age in a vibrant kimono, playing with a ball. A gust of wind intervened, and when Heiji reopened his eyes, the girl had vanished, leaving only a square crystal by the cherry tree trunk. Showing the crystal to Conan, Heiji reveals that he has shared the story with Kazuha, though not every detail. Meanwhile, Sonoko, Ran, and Kazuha enjoy lunch at a restaurant, discussing the incident from 8 years ago. Kazuha mentions Heiji's recent interview about his first love with a Kansai magazine, where he described the girl as slightly older, their meeting during his 3rd year of primary school. Ran tries to comfort Kazuha, emphasizing that the girl is part of Heiji's past, while Kazuha is his future. However, Sonoko interjects that first loves often hold significance for men. Conan and Heiji arrive at the west gate of Karama Temple, planning to take a shortcut. Disembarking from the motorcycle, Conan spots a blue bike parked nearby. As they ascend the stairs leading to the inner temple sanctuary, an observer, the killer, monitors their movements from above. The summit of the stairs leads to the immobile hall of Sojiogatani, where legend has it the Tengu instructed Ushiwaka in the art of war. Heiji suggests it's an ideal spot for sword practice. Simultaneously, the killer readies to shoot an arrow at Heiji. Conan notices just in time, shouting at Heiji to take cover. He pursues the assailant, while Heiji rushes back to his motorcycle, picks up Conan, and they give chase. Reaching a forest path that terminates near a bridge, the attacker races across, severing the rope behind him. Heiji manages to reach the other side just in the nick of time. The pursuit continues downhill to Karama Temple Station, and the two motorcycles race along the train tracks of the Aizen Electric Railway Karama line. The attacker deploys a smoke bomb, momentarily obscuring Heiji's vision. They narrowly avoid colliding with an oncoming train. As Conan and Heiji regain their footing, the unidentified assailant speeds into the distance. Conan wonders about the motive behind the attack on Heiji. At the Sakuraya tea house, Ichikeo, a geisha, sings while Chikasuzu dances for Kagoro, Ryuan, Sakura, Shuntaro, and Taiga. Heiji recognizes Chikasuzu from earlier. Sakura requests a brief nap in one of the rooms downstairs, asking to be awakened at 9 p.m. Sonoko opens the window, revealing a breathtaking full moon and a clear night sky. The tea house overlooks Misogi River, a popular spot for couples due to its lined flowering cherry trees. Heiji notices Inspector Ayana Koji standing downstairs on the riverbank and points him out to Conan. Ran, Kazuha, and Sonoko descend to get a better view of the cherry trees. Meanwhile, Kagoro engages in more games with Chikasuzu, entertaining everyone present. Conan gazes at the full moon and reminisces about a date he had with Ran. He recounts how Shinichi, 2 hours late, ran anxiously to their meeting spot. Ran, instead of being angry, smiled, expressing relief that nothing serious had happened to him. Heiji playfully teases Conan, questioning if that was the day he realized he was in love with Ran. Conan remains silent but reflects on his awareness of his feelings back then and wonders how long Ran will continue to wait for him. Ran confides in Kazuha, expressing slight envy that Kazuha gets to see Heiji whenever she wants. As the clock strikes 9 p.m., the landlady goes downstairs to wake Sakura but cannot find him. She searches the cellar and discovers Sakura's lifeless body on the floor near the window. The landlady's panicked scream echoed through the tea house, prompting the guests to rush downstairs. Ran, in a state of distress, immediately called the police. Kagoro took charge, examining the lifeless body. He determined that Sakura met his demise when someone skillfully slashed his carotid artery with a sharp weapon. Inspector Ayana Koji, accompanied by 2 police officers, headed upstairs to interview the witnesses. In a hushed conversation, Heiji and Conan exchanged thoughts on the case. Heiji questioned Conan about the possibility of a break-in, but Conan reasoned that Sakura would have heard the front door open, making it unlikely. Instead, he proposed that the murderer was already inside, narrowing down the suspects to Seijo, Ryuan, and Mizuwa. All 3 had taken bathroom breaks during the evening, providing an opportunity to descend downstairs and commit the crime. Conan pondered the oddity of Chikasuzu following Mizuwa to the bathroom but not doing the same for Ryuan and Seijo. This observation leaned towards the likelihood of either Ryuan or Seijo being the culprits, given the absence of witnesses when they left the room. They ventured to the deceased's antiquities shop in Teramachi Street. Among Sakura's books, Conan discovered the Yushitsun Chronicles with the name Ieyasu no Saburo inscribed on the back. This revelation exposed Sakura as one of the remaining members of Genjibutaru. To add intrigue, the picture riddle was wedged between the pages of the book, leading Heiji to surmise that Sakura was the one who sent the letter to Sano Temple. Later, Heiji and Kazuha ride home on Heiji's motorcycle through Teramachi Street. The calm is shattered when the murderer, standing atop Seijo's closed store, pursues them on a motorcycle, armed with a bow and arrow. A shot narrowly misses Heiji, shattering the left side mirror of his motorcycle. The murderer skillfully navigates into a nearby park, prompting Heiji to instruct Kazuha to stay back while he pursues the assailant on foot. They rendezvous near the train tracks, and the murderer, with a theatrical flourish, hurls a wooden sword at Heiji, challenging him to a kendo duel. As their clash ensues, Heiji astutely observes that the murderer is sporting arm guards. The intensity of the confrontation grows, and Heiji, after a valiant effort, loses his balance, dropping his sword. Defiantly, he urges the murderer to strike him as he did Sakura. The assailant delivers 2 blows, before deftly slicing through Heiji's sleeve, revealing the old crystal tucked in his pocket. Heiji retrieves the crystal, but as he attempts to rise, a sudden onset of dizziness blurs his vision. Leaning against a tree for support, he finds himself vulnerable as the murderer draws a knife, poised for a fatal strike. In a sudden turn of events, a sock containing a hefty stone hurtles through the air, connecting with the murderer's head and chipping off part of his mask. The sound of someone shouting, "He's over here, officer," prompts the assailant to flee, leaving behind the swords, but dropping the knife. Kazuha rushes to Heiji's side, and as he regains consciousness, he expresses gratitude for her quick thinking that saved his life. However, Heiji remains unconscious and is eventually found in Umakuji Hospital, surrounded by Ran, Kazuha, and Conan. Otaki and Shiratori question Heiji about his attacker, but the evidence is scant. Even the motorcycle used by the murderer was stolen. Kazuha recalls that her improvised weapon, a sock, chipped off part of the murderer's mask, and she sets out determinedly to find the missing fragment. Meanwhile, Ran, who has been updating Kagoro on the situation over the phone, returns to the room to discover that Heiji and Conan have vanished. Conan and Heiji hop on the train, heading back to the city center, where they engage in a conversation about the recent attack. Heiji shares details about the arm guards the murderer wore, emphasizing that he deliberately allowed himself to be wounded by the short sword to gather evidence for the police. However, he expresses confusion about why the assailant left the short sword behind and attempted to snatch the pouch with the crystal ball from him. Upon reaching the city center, they rendezvous with Mizuwa to inquire about the murderer's mask and verify alibis. Shuntaro clarifies that he went straight home after leaving the tea house, but since he lives alone with his mother, he lacks witnesses to corroborate his alibi. Seijo echoes a similar situation, residing alone above his shop. Ryuen, too, returned home independently. Heiji probes further, inquiring if any of the suspects have experience in archery. Shuntaro admits to using a bow and arrow for theatrical purposes, while Ryuen employs the sound of a bowstring for meditation but does not practice archery. Seijo mutters Yamakura, but Heiji dismisses Yamakura as a suspect for the attack, noting she wasn't near the park at the time. Chikasuzu, adopting a peculiar sitting posture on the mats, draws Conan's attention. Seijo also adopts a similar pose, but with more knee bending. Accompanying Chikasuzu back home, Heiji and Conan stroll down Ebisu Avenue. While walking, Chikasuzu softly sings a familiar song to herself, immediately recognized by Heiji. It's the same song he heard in the temple 8 years ago. Chikasuzu explains that it's a temari, listing the names of major roads in Kyoto running east to west, ordered from north to south. As they bid farewell to the young geisha at Oik Avenue, mysteries and clues continue to intertwine in the historic city. Unexpectedly, the detective boys emerge, explaining that Agasa brought them to Kyoto, but they lost track of Genta. Conan utilizes his glasses to pinpoint Genta's whereabouts, and Heiji, seizing the glasses, leads the group to reunite with the missing member. Eventually locating Genta at Rokkaku Temple, Conan explains that the badges share the same frequency as his glasses, enabling Genta's retrieval. The realization dawns on Conan and Heiji. They now understand how Sakura was murdered but lack knowledge about the perpetrator. Meanwhile, Kazuha returns to the park and discovers the wooden chip she threw at the murderer's mask. This is the end of part 1. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Remember to like, share and subscribe to support our channel, and don't forget to press the notification bell button to not miss upcoming interesting videos. See you later.